Hey, welcome. We are in chapter 13. We're almost to the end of this road. Believe it or not, this semester has gone by so quickly. This is week 11, and we're covering chapters 13, 14, and 15. And in this particular chapter, we're going to be working with type and transforming type. We are still in our textbook, Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud Revealed. And we're going to work initially on Photoshop document 13-1. So we're going to open that. Sorry guys, I normally try to have this open before I start so I don't have to sit through through all of that. All right, so now we have opened it. We're going to update the text layers if needed, and it did not ask me to do that, so I did not have to do that. But then we're going to save this as Classic Cat. So we're going to do a file and save as Classic Cat underscore your name. You want to make sure that the rulers are in pixels, which they are. And again, I always choose the crosshairs and click and drag them down to reset the 0 point if it needs it, right at the very upper left-hand corner of your document. And then we are going to display the typography workspace. So I'm going to move this over just slightly so you can see that it's my essentials that workspace that's displayed, and we're going to change that out to typography, and hopefully it's going to organize it nicely, which it has. All right, then we are going to click the make the Classic Cat layer active on the Layers panel. And then we are going to get the Move tool on the Tools panel. We're going to click the Show Transform Controls checkbox on the Options bar. And you'll see that the Transform control handles surround the bounding box, which they indeed do. Now when you do place your cursor on or near these handles, you'll see that you get options for how you might be able to transform it. This would indicate you could rotate it. This would indicate that you could increase the size. Again, a rotation. And then we are going to modify this type using the bounding box. So we're going to drag that top center handle with the resizing pointer until you see that the set vertical position of reference point text box Y on the options bar, which is right up here, displays approximately 194 pixels, I believe. And since I'd already pulled it up a bit, we're going to try this. And then you want to compare your document to figure 4 in your textbook or mine on the screen. When you begin dragging the resizing handles, the option bar changes to display the bounding box transform tools. You can also type values in these text boxes, which with this Y, I did not have it right on 195 is what I think I was shooting for. So if I click this and do 195 and hit tab or enter, it is right at the right size. Now we're going to drag the right center handle until the horizontal scale text box or the W text box displays approximately 90%. And you want to compare your bounding box to figure 5 and your options bar to figure 6. And here's the options bar. So this is the set horizontal position of the reference point, X. Set vertical position, Y. The horizontal scale at 90%. And then this transform button where you can cancel it if you choose to is over here a little ways, but I would need to make my window a little bit larger to see it. All right, you can use the transform commands that are on your menu items as well. Rotate, scale, skew, distort, perspective, and wrap with any of the resizing pointers to distort a bounding box using an angle other than 90%. All right, now we're going to click the Commit Transform Enter button on the options bar. That's that little check box that, again, in a lot of instances for me remains hidden because I don't have the window stretched out like I should have. And there it is. Then you want to do a Command or Control S to save your work. All right, now we're going to work with some warping of text, and I'm very reluctant to use this particular option on text. In fact, most often if I'm working with quite a bit of type on a design, I'll be either in Illustrator or in InDesign. I normally don't do type work to any great extent in Photoshop, although they're getting a lot better about working with type, the Photoshop options, but still the real type transformers or modifications should be done again in Illustrator or InDesign. That said, we are going to take a look at some of the things that you can do in Photoshop that is actually easier in Photoshop to do than it is in one of the other softwares. So we're going to get out the Layers panel, and we're going to look for the Playful Cat Edition layer, and we're going to highlight that. And then you're supposed to zoom in until it's at 100%. Mine's already at 100%, and so I'm going to zoom in a little bit more closely. And again, make sure I've got that one highlighted. And then we're going to double click the Playful Cat Edition layer thumbnail on the Layers panel. And we're going to, and you'll see that that automatically and immediately highlights the type. We're going to set the font size list arrow on the options bar at 12 points. And then we're going to click the Create Warped Text button on the options bar. And again, I rarely do this with type. Your primary focus with type is creating a readable, accessible message. Warping type is okay maybe for a display or for 1 or 2 words, but you definitely don't want to do this on a regular basis. Okay, so we've clicked that button and we've brought up the dialog box. We're going to click the Style List arrow, and then we are going to click Arc Upper. You're going to verify that the horizontal option button is selected, which it is, and then you're going to change the settings for bend, horizontal distortion, and vertical distortion to match these in figure 10 or mine on the screen in just a moment. So this will be, get this out of the way. This will be plus 40. And horizontal distortion will be minus 3. And vertical distortion will be plus 10. And honestly, I don't believe that it makes a difference if you put plus. It does make a difference if you put minus because it defaults to plus, but just to be on the safe side, I'll put plus, minus 3, and plus 10. Now we're going to click OK to close the warp text box. And then we're going to commit any current edits, which since I don't want to move my page around, I'm just going to double click to commit this or hit enter or return. There you go. Well, maybe I want to make sure it's committed, so I'm going to find this little commit text box. I really need 2 screens, don't I? Okay, and there we are. We are going to use the Move tool on the Tools panel to drag or nudge the type so it's centered over the logo of the playing kitten, as shown in figure 12, or you'll see it in my screen in just a moment. And you want to make sure that that is the one that's highlighted. I'm going to get the arrow, and then we're just going to click drag and put that over the playful kitten. That's an awful design for text. Don't ever do that. All right, guys, I think I will come back in just a moment to do another demo or two for you. I will be right back.